Welcome to Knicks Home Court with your host. My name is Greg Armstrong. This is episode number 56, and I'll jump right into it. Knicks got crushed by the Celtics. I figured they'll either get crushed or they may surprise us. And they got crushed. But more importantly, welcome to the world of a superstar, Kristaps Porzingis. Welcome to the world of Melo. With Melo saw on a consistent nightly basis and still was able to get his points. Now, this is a good thing. They double teamed him all the time. It's like Celtics said, look, there's nobody on this team that can score. Hardaway's fucking worrying about his contract. Cancer can score inside, but that's not going to beat us. Let's just shut down Kristaps and let the other guys beat us. And that's what could happen when you have one star. And that's when Hardaway's supposed to go off. But let me talk about something else that I noticed. I think, well, first of all, I want to say I'm actually happy that Kristaps had the game he had. And he didn't have a bad game because he shot bad, even though it looks like he shot bad. But it was the defense that caused that. It was the double teaming. It was Kristaps forcing his shot and things like that. It was things like that that led to his bad game. They effectively said, we're taking you out the game, Kristaps. And Kristaps refused to be taken out the game and still tried to do his superstar thing. And that's why he shot bad. You know, we couldn't use Kristaps as a decoy because nobody else was hitting shots. But the good thing about this is now adjustments have to be made. Kristaps has to adjust to the newfound attention. He's going to get fouled more. He's going to get hit up. This is why I don't want him playing center right now. He's young enough to still play that position and possibly later on switch over. I really don't like Kristaps as a center. Once he gets his legs and his strength under him, I think he'll be dominating every single power forward in the league. I think he possibly can. Because if you want to see, this is the thing. If you want to go small, like the other day, Detroit. I don't know why this guy slipping my mind. He was looking good. All kind of moves, looking like young Melo. And Kristaps couldn't really guard him. But you know what? He couldn't guard Kristaps as well. And sometimes you're going to have those games. But for the most part, Kristaps will be able to dominate that position. Excuse that. So, also, I think that Hornacek has to put him in a better position to succeed. And I don't mean running him off screens and all that stuff. That's great. He's 7'3". He doesn't really need to run off screens as much. But you need to create more space for Kristaps. The reason why teams are able to double team and the Knicks were not able to take advantage of it, first of all, they were looking and watching when you put it on the floor. I remember one time Melo said something. Melo said, when I have the ball on offense, I'm never worrying about the guy defending me. I'm looking for the help. I'm seeing where the help is coming from. You know why Melo said that? Because Melo knows no one can guard me one-on-one, so I'm not worried about my defender. I'm worried about the help defense. And I think that in the NBA, a player as good as Kristaps, I believe the same thing. I don't think anybody really can guard these guys, any of these stars one-on-one. It's always about the help defense. So you need to know where it's coming from so you can either make a pass or you can react accordingly. So that's something that Kristaps needs to learn. And he will learn, I believe. He'll adjust because he's a hard worker and he wants to be great. As far as Hornacek, you have to figure out a way to put Kristaps on an island. So where if you try to double team, that's why if you look at Golden State, you can't double team them because the spacing is so great. And then there's always movement of players and ball movement. And I think when you look at Kristaps, the reason why he got double teamed a lot, he got double teamed a lot on the post. When he was on the post, on the elbow, they were double teaming him. So that's not a good place to get the ball. They may have to do something where he's the only guy on one side and the rest of the guys are on the strong side. You know, just him and the guy defending him. He needs to be put in positions. If you're going to have him doing one-on-one moves, he needs to be in positions where it could just be him and that guy. And say what you want about the triangle, which that's one triangle principle that I've always liked about it. I don't like the triangle for this team. Well, actually, the funny thing is, with no point guard, the triangle is actually what they should run. More of it, or something, a facsimile of it. And I know y'all tired of hearing about the triangle, but the simple fact is they have no point guard play. And the triangle allows for penetration. And you actually have a guy in Cancer who's the post guy. But not only that is what I like about the triangle, and I hate to talk about it. Let's just say a facsimile of it is on the elbow. You can give the ball to Kristaps, and the rest of the team is off to the side. So he has literally half the side of the court to work on, because that's the problem I see. If you're going to give Kristaps the ball in isolation, you have to get away from him and not allow teams to double team him. So I don't care if it's the triangle, I don't care if it's the circle, I don't care if it's the square. You have to give him room to operate. He's a big dude, he needs room. But I saw a few mistakes that Kristaps made, and this, I think, is going to come in time with the team knowing each other. There was times they gave the ball to Cantor in the post, and Kristaps runs over there. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? Killing the spacing. Cantor's trying to work on a low post, and you crowding him. Nah, stay over there. And I like the fact that Kristaps is like, give me the ball, give me the ball. I like that he's trying to get the ball. But stay on the other side of the court. They're not forgetting who you are, dog. Because when you crowd Cantor, you just mess up the whole offensive flow. And it was like at least 5-6 times I saw him do that. And he does that sometimes. He runs to the side where the ball's at. Nah, that's just not good. The ball has to get to you through a pass. It has to get to you through a pass. They have to swing it back around to your side. Because guess what? When you go to the side where the ball is at, you clog up the offense and make it easy for the defense. It's easy to double team somebody when you're right next to them. Like everybody knows when you play ball, you always say, don't bring your man to me. Don't bring the defensive man to me. By coming to me wanting the ball. Stay your ass over there. I have a better chance of giving you the ball. So, little things that Kristaps needs to work on. You could see his determination. It was a tough loss. And, the thing is, too, I'm disappointed in a few things. Now, I didn't hear the post-game comments. I read some of the comments on Twitter. But the thing is, I heard some comments to me, especially from veterans, that I feel like, first of all, it's too early for those comments, and it, to me, showed a little bit of a mental weakness. It's only 3 games into the season. Yeah, they 0-3. Yeah, they want to win. But start saying guys are not listening in practice, and nah, man. Nah. It's early in the season. You're not going to remember all the plays. Everybody knows that. But for Courtney Lee to say guys are not remembering the plays, they just running around, and Hardaway saying we just running around out there. Come on, man. Especially Hardaway. Dude, shut the fuck up right now. Because you look like hot shit. You look like hot shit. You should be like putting it on yourself for missing all them fucking shots that you're missing, dog. We just running around. No, motherfucker. Show some mental fortitude and say, you know what? I need to be better. We'll figure it out. You see, that's the issue. You see, what you hearing them doing, Lee and Hardaway, see, that's what losers do. And I don't want them to develop that mentality. And Courtney Lee, being a veteran, should be the one guy that's saying, you know what, we're working on it. We're going to get it together. But he's calling people out after the 3rd game. And Lee has said some questionable things in the past. And, the Knicks need to look to move Lee. Because to me, he's just in the way. Because he really doesn't do anything. He's what you call a guy that has a lot athletic ability. He runs around a lot on the court. He gets the ball a lot. The one thing he does is he gets the ball. He keeps things moving. But he's not really helping the Knicks. They can lose without him. And they can lose without him and still gain. In other words, his position should be given to Dotson or McDermott, where we see what we have. Now, that's not suggesting that we just give up. I'm just saying I'm not a fan of Courtney Lee at this point. And if we can package Courtney Lee and somebody and possibly get an Eric Bledsoe or get something or get draft picks, I'm willing to do it. But, it's early, and it's not because they're 0-3. I have been thinking about it, and I'm like, Courtney Lee, if you're not going to be the veteran presence that we need you to be, if you're not going to be the voice of reason that we need you to be, that's why we keep a few veterans on the team, then he needs to go. Because on the court, come on, dude. You averaging like 7 points a game and you talk about people don't know the offense. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. No one on this team can talk shit right now. Everybody has their flaws. Everybody has made their mistakes. It should be like, we're going to get this together. We're going to put our heads together and we're going to get it together. If you notice, any winning team that goes through a losing streak or losing, I've seen Cleveland do it. I've seen Miami do it. Of course, these are championship caliber teams, but that's not the point. The point is what they say mentally, what they say when they're struggling. Oh, we're going to get it together. We got this. That means they have confidence in their abilities. They have confidence in each other as a team. If you're trying to form a team after the third game, you can't have one of the veterans on the team talk about players and not remembering plays. You don't say that shit to the media, especially these fucking vicious beasts of media that love to take everything and run with it, like Mark Berman, always trying to find an angle for drama because that's the only way they can get clicks. You don't give them red meat. What the fuck is wrong with you? So I had a big problem with Courtney Lee saying the shit he said. Again, I didn't see the entire interview. I only saw an excerpt, but based on that excerpt, I don't like that. You should not discuss the inner workings of your team ever, period. Don't give the New York media is not like any other media. You don't give them anything. You give them bland responses. You give them the same phrases and they'll stop asking the questions. They may not stop, but you still, we have to pull together as a team. We have to keep our heads together. We have to stay strong. That's all the fuck you need to say. But the problem is, a guy like Courtney Lee is not used to being in a prominent position as far as team leader. And you see what you're getting from that. This team, now say what you want to say. Joakim Noah can't get on the court, but this team needs him. They need him. They need his veteran leadership. They need it. He's a consummate winner. And he understands this game. He understands the mental aspect of the game. And you can't have people like that around the young vets. Around the young players like Courtney Lee saying that bullshit. Anyway, because that had pissed me off when I heard that. But as far as the game is concerned, we just got crushed. It was really not a contest. Midway through the first quarter, you saw it. It was one of those, if I can equate it to football, it wasn't one of those games where, they threw bombs. In football, they blow a team out by throwing bombs and scoring quickly. No, it was a gradual, like a ground game, like a running game. Like, okay, we're going to run the ball, score 7. Okay, we're going to run the ball again and control the clock, score 7. Like, it was like a simple, methodical, slow ass kicking. The Boston Celtics second unit was busting our ass. And the funny thing is when Gordon Hayward got hurt, I said, yo, Jason Tatum is nice. Because once they got Jason Tatum, I'm like, yo, he's nice. I'm not saying he's Gordon Hayward, but he's nice. He's pretty good. They're loaded in the wing position. And I always tell you, wing position is one of the most important in the NBA. And they have 2 excellent wings. Jaylen Brown, who's young, and Tatum, who's young. That's their strongest position, is the wing position, which is athleticism, which is speed, which is scoring. You get all of that from the wing. And you can't be a really good team without really good wings. The Knicks have a decent wing in Hardaway. He hasn't shown it yet. I believe he is. But you know what? The fucking coach is playing him at small forward. What are you doing? Jeff Hornacek, what are you doing? I hate to question the coach 3 games in, but what the fuck are you doing? That starting lineup with him and Courtney Lee is not working at all. I want to preach defense. That's how you know. See, this is the problem. Look, I'm still going to say Hornacek may be a good coach. I'm going to say that. But if you look at it, they always say a good coach adjusts to his talent. You're trying to force these guys to be a defensive team. Yes, they need to play defense. I'm not saying forget about defense. But you're putting Courtney Lee out there supposedly because he's a better defender. Or are you trying to get him traded? I don't know what's going on. But if you're putting him out there because he's supposed to be a better defender and you're putting Hardaway out of position and on most teams' best player, because most teams' best player, a lot of times it's a small forward or the point guard. I mean, Hardaway had to go against Paul George, foul trouble. He had to go against... Now, Jaylen Brown's really a small forward playing shooting guard, so he probably wasn't going to get away from that, but he still got abused by him. Or whoever was there, he was just getting abused. You cannot put, the thing is, look, Hardaway is an offensive player. You need to put him on, you need to match him up with the least offensive player on the other team. Teams have done this forever. You put your best scorer on a guy who doesn't score so the guy can have some energy to try to score. You don't fucking do wishful thinking. You don't do wishful thinking, oh, I'm going to make him a two-way player. Fuck that. Kristaps needs help out there. So you put him, you got Courtney Lee. Courtney Lee's supposed to be your defender. You put Courtney Lee on the tougher offensive matchup. But it doesn't work because they're just too little. And they're getting dominated. And it's affecting their offense as well. So you put Hardaway back at the 2. I don't want to see Beasley. Like I told you, Beasley he has, look, if he's not, this is how I would do with Beasley. If the Knicks are struggling to score, put him in there. If he ain't hitting the shots, take him out. I'm telling you, he got 2-minute leash. Not even 2 minutes. Because he just doesn't fit the timeline and he's just not really good in this system. He can't create for itself. He needs to be created for. He can a little bit, but I don't mind bringing him in a little bit after for Kristaps to play the 4, but it just seems like he's coaching with a lot of confusion. Like he still doesn't actually know. And I feel like this: play the best players and play the best young players. If you're going to lose, go down with your young players learning. At least you can make each loss a teaching moment. But if you're playing veterans, all they're going to do is get angry. They're going to just get disgruntled. But I think they need to put in, and the thing is with Dotson is he's a good defender. So why wouldn't you put him in the lineup? At the 2. At the 3, I mean. Because at least he's big, he's strong enough. But you know what? I don't even mind if McDermott played there. Yeah, he doesn't play defense. Fine. Look at all the defensive players you're putting in there now. Are they stopping someone? And they offense. See, the reason why they got crushed yesterday, because they couldn't score. Because we know they're not stopping anybody. And no team that can score, you're not going to continuously stop the other team unless you're completely a defensive team. You have to have some scoring. You can't be missing shots and the other team is running down for fast breaks. It just doesn't work that way. And the NBA is an offensive league. I don't understand why people don't understand this. The NBA is an offensive league. Every team scores over 100 points a game. You're not stopping teams in the NBA anymore. That's a fucking dream. Think about the best teams in the NBA and tell me if they top defensive teams. No, they usually, all you have to do, you could be an elite offense and a top 15 defense, and you have a very good team. Golden State is not elite defensively. Did you see the points that Houston put up on them? Houston don't even play D. They don't give a fuck about defense. They're going to just outscore you. Now, I'm not saying we anything like that, but Hornacek is at least last time I checked, was a good offensive coach. And now he wants to try to be a defensive coach. And again, I'm not saying don't teach defense, but if you don't have the horses, you can't run the race, dog. You don't have the horses for that. But you do have the horses that can shoot the 3. We didn't get we had 1 3-pointer for the night. That's atrocious. When you have a McDermott, when you have you have McDermott, you have Dotson, you have KP. I say the Knicks should put all their 3-point shooters on the court with KP. That's how you get the ultimate spacing. Okay, you got to start sessions, but then you should have Hardaway. You can have Hardaway, McDermott, Porzingis, and Cantor. You can bring Dotson. You have to have 3-point shooting. That's the fucking NBA. You can't blame the triangle on the fact that you're not shooting fucking 3-pointers. You're not even setting it up. You know why? Because first of all, nobody's scared of the point guard. That's why Jarrett Jack and Sessions were getting a lot of shots, because they're like, let them shoot. They suck. They're not going to do anything. Let them shoot. So your offense is predicated on the point guard position, and you have no fucking point guard. So we have a problem, Houston. So either we need to run a system that's not as dependent on the point guard, or you need to make a trade. Bledsoe's dangling out there. He's a good player. You give up what you need to give up. Keep Frank Ntilikina, keep Billy, and everybody else can go. Now, I don't say everybody else, but a lot of people can go. But again, I laugh at Knicks Twitter. I laugh at all these people because I see the same people who was talking about tank. We need to tank. We need to tank. We need to suck. And all they doing is complaining. See, y'all motherfuckers act like y'all can handle a tank. You can't handle a tank. It ain't easy to watch your team every day suck. So I don't want to hear from those people. I'm not down with a fucking tank. I'm down with development. If you're losing games in the process of development, that's different. But let's see how they respond on Friday. They got the Nets, which is not a good matchup for the Knicks. Because the Nets, guess what? The Nets have been in games. They have, I think they're 2-1 or 2-2. They've been in games. Why? Because they shoot the fucking three. The three-point shot is the great equalizer. It could take a bad team and have them compete. Even you look at the Lakers last year, when they started the season, they won some games. Don't get me wrong, they sucked. But they won games because they were shooting the three. You have to shoot the three, especially when you don't have a lot of talent and you don't have a lot of defense. The great equalizer is that three-point shot. The Knicks need to shoot 35 to 40 three-pointers a night. Kristaps needs to shoot 7 3-pointers a night. Not hit, I'm saying at least shoot and take. It needs to be 3 or at the rim. That's the way the NBA is fucking played. And if you're not going to play like that, you're going to get fired very soon. Because you know what? I looked at the schedule and it's not getting easy. As I look at the schedule, I'm like, yo, they got the Nets, who they can lose to. Because right now, I can't look at any team and say the Knicks can beat them, because the Knicks right now at this point are the worst team in the NBA. So them and the Suns. So I can't look at a team and say that's a win. I can't do that. So they got the Nets. Hold on. I don't even have it in front of me. I wanted to look up their schedule. They got the Nets. They're not in any order. I know they have the Nets coming up, but I'm just going to say a few teams they have coming up. They have the Nets. They have Cleveland. They have Rockets. Not in the order. I know the Nets is Friday. Cleveland, Rockets, Raptors. Put it like this. They have at least 5 or 6 playoff teams come. They got Indiana, who's surprising people and playing well. The Knicks can fuck around this time next week and be 0-8, 0-7. What happens then? I don't want to fire Jeff Hornacek for the simple fact is I want the team to have stability. But to me, first of all, I didn't realize, I heard this podcast, and I'm gonna tell you about this little information I got from a Woj podcast, which was pretty good. And he said that, you know, a lot of people on the team lost respect for Hornacek for not standing up for Phil Jackson. Because when the Knicks was 14-10 last season, they was running basically Hornacek sets. And Phil came down and said, you need to run the triangle. And Hornacek at that moment should have been like, fuck you, Phil. I'm running what I need to run. I am the fucking coach. Take your ass back to the fucking booth or where the fuck you came from. You know why he could have done that? And I never thought about it. It was the first year of a 3-year contract. He would not have fired Hornacek. And Dolan would not have let him fire Hornacek. He wouldn't let him fire him. So Hornacek around here calling people pussies and bitches, but you trying to run a system that's not your system. And a lot of players lost respect for him. I'm telling you, this shit goes south. It's going to go south fast. I'm talking about as far as playing for this guy. And when the players don't want to play for you and they won't run through a wall for you, you got to go, dog. And I'm thinking that, yo, there's a chance they could be 0-7, 0-8, 2-17, 3-23. That's where we're headed right now. Unless things change drastically. And that's not what I expected. I expected a losing season, but I didn't expect to be the worst team that's trying to win. The worst team in the history of the league that's trying to win. He should be doing things to free up Tim Hardaway for 3-point shots. He should be running more plays for Tim Hardaway to get him going. What the fuck is going on the court? I don't understand what they're doing. Because you know why? Jeff Hornacek, you're out of your league. You're out of your league when it comes to coaching defense. You're an offensive coach. You need to relinquish. Maybe, I don't know if you have anything to do with defense, but you need to really focus on that offense. Again, it's one game, but this is what I'm seeing, and it's alarming. And looking at the schedule and looking at this team, there's no identity. And the first sign of stress, these fuckers start shooting off their mouth saying bullshit. Come on. That's a sign of mental weakness. And if they meet weak mentally, they can't be here in New York. Straight up. That brings us to the end of this podcast. Knicks Home Court, episode 56. And my name is Greg Armstrong. I'll speak to y'all later. Peace.